February 10th to order. Roll call, please.
Yes, Commissioner Abelman.
Here.
Commissioner Falk.
Here.
Commissioner Collar.
Here.
Commissioner Kazan.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Carlson.
Here.
And Chair Callahan.
Here.
Everybody is accounted for. We do have a quorum and we can conduct business.
And if Roger Carlson would lead us in the pledge, please.
I'd be happy to. Nice. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Approve the order of agenda. Are there any changes since we only have one thing on it? I don't think we need to do that. Blue folder items.
Yes, we did get one item. It was emailed to each of you at your city official emails. It was a letter dated January 21st. It was a repeat letter from one that was submitted at City Council. It really spoke to government transparency is the main topic, but it was distributed to each of you.
All right, thank you. Let's see, consent calendar. Approval of the affidavit of posting for the Harbor Commission meeting and approval of the minutes of December 9th. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public participation on non-agenda items. I see no one in the audience. Do we have any e-comments or anybody on Zoom?
There are no e-comments and no participants in Zoom.
Woo-hoo, we're just moving along. No ex parte, no public hearings. Items continued, we have none. Items for discussion, we have none. Items from staff. Director's report.
Right, we're cutting into the chase here.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so I have a few updates for everybody. Just this past Tuesday, February 4th, City Council opined on the electronic sign text amendment that went before this group a few months ago, I believe, maybe even longer than that, where they directed staff to seek a design review process to be reviewed and approved by this body for the big electronic sign under the freestanding sign at the Marina parking lot, the one that currently advertises Samba's and California Surf Club and the new Cantina, as well as Captain Kidd's. They also allowed us to pursue 4 directory static electronic signs so that we could have a static map with all the current businesses. Yes, it's electronic, but it doesn't qualify as a messaging advertisement because it's just a static map, and it's electronic, so we can easily manipulate and change the map when we do have business turnover. So hopefully it stays more accurate. And what really resonated with City Council was the fact that, you know, these directory signs are really important, not just to make sure you know where to go for the businesses and who's there, but the waterfront's not circular. It's not even linear. It's really difficult to get from one place to the other if you don't know where you're going. So hopefully this allowance for 4 will spawn into a larger discussion to have a campus-wide directory sign. But we'll see. Updates on the new public boat launch project. We all know we're underway. We've got Moffett and Nichol under contract. Right now, they are undergoing all the necessary studies, parking, traffic, circulation, demand. Those are almost near complete. We should be getting those in a week or 2, to be honest with you. We're gonna have our own planning department review those. And once they kind of get reviewed for accuracy, then we'll really start getting into the design phase and the environmental review. We will, of course, convene with the subcommittee. I don't remember which 3 of you are on that subcommittee without looking at my spreadsheet. Vicky, you're one, okay. But essentially, before they get too far into the design, once the studies have been really solidified, we'll bring that subcommittee together, walk you through the studies, show you where we're at with everything and kind of what we have to design around. We have an ongoing project right now. Did you want to?
Yeah, I was wondering about the wave study in the harbor. Is that still continuing, or how long does that go?
That's continuing, and that's actually the one that's going to take longer than all the other studies. We're actually going to do that for a full year.
Oh, cool.
So that we have the wave attenuation data
Okay.
for the entire calendar year.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad it's captured some storms. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. One of the existing improvements that we're doing right now is the marina parking lot, the surface parking lot serving Seaside Lagoon, Surf Club, R10, and the Cantina is transforming right now. So the lot itself, the payment method will convert from a staff-operated toll booth to electronic pay stations, as well as pay by app via your phone. And we're also doing some ADA improvements. So it's being done in 2 phases. Phase 1 is happening today, right now, as we speak. And it's slated to be completed in mid-March. That first phase consists of the northern half. So think of California Surf Club and Seaside Lagoon, that portion of the surface parking lot serving those 2 uses. And it's getting additional ADA accessible parking stalls, new ADA path of travel routes connecting those new stalls to the actual buildings, the entrances, new ADA compliant sidewalks in front of the California Surf Club buildings, and then along the sidewalk that leads you to Harbor. There's a series of ramps that get you from the buildings up to Harbor Drive. All that's getting redone. We're also doing new tree lighting along the palm trees at the entrance there. And then we're re-asphalting with the slurry and restriping the whole parking lot.
Wow.
Again, the improvements will be done right before California Surf Club opens, and that's also slated for mid-March, last I heard. At that time, when that section is done and California Surf Club is open, the control arms on the toll booth will be raised, and we won't staff that any longer. And essentially, it will be free parking for probably about a month or so. And we will start the process of the improvements on the southern portion of the parking lot, which also includes pay stations, the pay by app phone signage, so you can easily pay for that. And then we're restriping that portion over there too. And that'll be about mid-April. Once that portion is done, then we'll also demo the existing toll booth. And at that point, parking enforcement will enforce that marina parking lot, much like they do our parking structures. So you won't have to pay to get in or get out. You'll just have to pay on your own accord. Okay. Skate park mural. We just recently had a ribbon cutting ceremony to kind of honor the artist in the skate park mural. We also celebrated all the work that's been happening at International Boardwalk. Many of you were there. We had Mayor Jim Light, Council members Lowenstein, Nierenheim, and Kalujerovich, as well as Commissioners Carlson, Callahan, Abelman, Collar, and Bauer. We had a quorum. We could have had some votes that day. That was so much. But it was a good event. It was about a half hour. They had some professional skaters out there, which made it kind of a unique event. But it was nice. The sea bass grow pens, we are still pursuing new pens at our fire station docks. We have a consultant on board. They're actually fabricating it off-site. We have a permit in with the Coastal Commission right now, and I believe we're nearing approval on that one, or at least a decision. And let's see, we're looking to get those in by July of 2025. So it's nearing completion.
Wow.
Seaside Lagoon, we've made some progress. So as you know, we went to City Council in October of 2024 and got City Council's ultimate scope of work approved, which aligned with this group's recommendation, which was to do a complete overhaul of the entire Seaside Lagoon, entitle the whole thing, but perform the work in phases, starting with phase 1, which is really the lagoon itself, the water feature itself, and phasing out the rest when money became available. They did challenge our consultant and staff to push the building up into what I call the bulb out area, but right now it's that drop-off bulb area that people use off of Portofino Way. We're actually reclaiming that to make it a part of Seaside Lagoon, and we're trying to push the buildings up into that. Since that October meeting in City Council, our consultant has been hard at work looking at building code, looking at planning codes, working with city staff to make sure they understand those items. They've been working to make sure that whatever they propose adheres to all those minimum requirements, but then they're also looking at pushing the building up. They also program specific spaces, restroom sizes, break room sizes, things that meet building code, but they wanted community services department staff feedback on how they'll actually use it. Yes, the code says you're required to have, and I'm making this up, 12 restrooms, but do they need it to be bigger? Do they need it to be smaller? So we got that feedback from Community Services. We met with the subcommittee on the 27th of January and got feedback on building placement. I've reported back to them, to the consultant, and they are working on responding to those comments. Once we have a response, I'll likely contact the subcommittee again and we can take a look at it. So that's where we are for there. We're still on track for entitlement in August. The hope is to bring the whole project before you, this body, in August of 2025. And shortly thereafter be in the Coastal Commission's queue. So hopefully September, we've got it submitted to the Coastal Commission, subject to their timing of when they'll hear us. The waterfront education facility, as you guys know, when we did the amenities plan, the former Joe's Crab Shack site was slated to essentially be rezoned. You know, the vision had changed to be some kind of an education center, a magnet that brought kids, field trips, things like that. We didn't know who would operate it, what it would be, but we had an idea that it would just be education serving. We have been in talks with Marine Mammal Care Center for the better part of 4 or 5 months, going back and forth. They're very interested. They're interested in developing, you know, a $25 million building, you know, to construct on the site. You know, typically in these situations, we just enter right into lease negotiations and start hashing out a lease. But that's a little too much too soon. They have to do some fundraising. But they want to show a certain commitment level, a partnership. So we're reviewing what type of document could show a certain level of commitment from the city that would allow them to show donors and to get some good faith going. Something that's short of a lease though, right? So those ideas are kicking back and forth between attorneys essentially, but I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that we'll land somewhere soon. No real updates to the break wall repairs, no new delays. So it's still status quo on that. And then we do have the nonprofit sailing enterprise at the 2 Portofino slips. We did receive Coastal Commission approval for our chosen operator, which is Julie Cole. Community Services Department has been charged with kind of finalizing an agreement with Julie and her group. I can confirm that the agreement has not only been drafted, but has been reviewed by our city attorneys and has been presented to Julie Cole. So once the 2 sides agree on the language, it goes straight to city council, and hopefully we've got an operator at Portofino, which is a long time coming. And then finally, one of the last items from, I believe 2 meetings ago, was a referral to set up a falconry tour. We have a falconry contract that essentially we have some birds that help keep away some of the nuisance birds out there for our restaurants. They do get housed down at the waterfront, and it's looking like it's going to be the week of February 17th. We're floating between February 18th and 19th, which is a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but it's the only 2 days that seem to work. So look for an email, likely tomorrow, coming from our staff just to kind of reserve the time. It's not mandatory. I think it's just a cool event to see how this stuff works. Completion of my director's report. Of course, I'm here for any questions. I do want to end before questions, introducing Catherine Buck, our new waterfront manager. Catherine comes to us from the private sector, but she's got a lot of expertise and experience, not only with planning and economic development, but actually overseeing project management of construction in various cities. So she's going to fit right in. Obviously, we're doing a lot down at the waterfront right now. And we're officially fully staffed, which is very exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. Before I open it up for questions, the next Harbor Commission meeting is scheduled for March 10th. I do have 2 CUPs lined up for March 10th. I said that last time. The planning department is committed that at least one will be there for March, if not both. So let me know if for any reason you can't attend, because we do need at least 4 of you there so that we can make some decisions. And with that, I'll bring it over to you guys for questions.
Go ahead.
Just two things. I wanted to point out that pigeons don't like to be called nuisance birds. They're kind of, they're a little sensitive, you know. But
Point of
the second thing is,
clarification,
it looked on the International Boardwalk, the city council put 200K aside, and we spent about 80 something in there, maybe a little less. So that other money, is that earmarked for other, well, signs certainly, yeah. Is there?
Yeah, so we did one of the murals on Fun Factory came out of that fund. Some additional landscaping came out of that fund. The blade signs, which are likely going to get installed in the next 45 days or so, are coming out of that fund. We have three? We have two?
Yeah, we have two that have successfully navigated the process, and then two others that are interested right now in the
So
program.
two businesses that are actually improving the facades of their tenant spaces. One is Trade Winds. What was the other? Oh, Booze Treasures was the other one. We have a lot of interest. It just takes a little while to get it going. So we're reserving some of that money so that the businesses can actually get some matching grant opportunities to fix facade, windows, doorways, ADA improvements, signage, anything that's outward facing, we will commit to.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have one question. We were down for the ribbon cutting of the skate park mural. I noticed that a lot of the pavers are cracking.
So it's an issue that Chris King, our Public Works manager, is going through right now. So from what I saw, most of it was in the area of Quality Seafood around that bend right there. We do think forklifts are kind of contributing to that issue. There's other small trucks that do utilize, like smaller delivery trucks. We may have to restrict the weight limit of what can go on there. We do have replacement bricks. We have quite a few pallets so that for this very same reason, we could interchange them. But obviously, we don't want this to become something where we're constantly updating these things. But there was forethought going into it that we knew we were going to have to replace these things as needed.
But it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's
3
real
months?
soon, yeah.
3 months or so, right? Yeah.
So, okay.
Looks
that
real
was-
good, though, let's say that.
And there's benches at the skate park now.
Yeah.
So grandma and grandpa can watch their little darlings skate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was your idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did notice before we get too much farther that we have a guest in the audience who missed his slot to speak. Can we back up?
Sure.
Okay. Can we back up and let Mark Hansen come forward and regale us with his
Handsomness.
information?
With his handsomness.
Yeah, well, if you hadn't done that often, I just try to sneak it in under his director's report, so it's hard, I'm hard to get rid of. Mark Hansen, King Harbor voter. Hello, commission, staff, and a giant welcome aboard, Catherine. Great to have you here, great to have you here. Some of you know some of the places I roam around in the boating world. I'm the outreach guy for King Harbor Yacht Club. I serve on the Government Relations Committee for the Chamber and also on that board of directors. And I serve as the Community and Government Relations Chair for both the Association of Santa Monica Bay Yacht Clubs and the Southern California Yachting Association. So I publish about 5 reports per month. A lot of them obviously can be retread from each other. But right before I came here, I sent you guys just 2 of my most recent reports. And I just wanted to highlight a couple things I thought might be of interest to you. On November 19th at the Chamber Government Relations Committee, I've been looking over their policy platform, and one of the things is they had in there was recommendation for residential housing on the AAS site. And I told them, I says, I don't have a strong opinion one way or another, but I just thought it was premature before this is, even has any control by the city and before we've had community meetings. I just thought it was premature for us to be putting that in print. And after several months of talking about it, they agreed, and we have erased all references to AES, and we're gonna wait till all you leaders and community do stuff before we chime in on it. So I thought that was a good way for us to go. November 24th, King Harbor Yacht Club hosted the International Order of the Blue Gavel. This is an international organization of past Commodores from Commodores all around the world. Well, the local president happens to be from our club, so we've been hosting those meetings, which is pretty cool to have those guys come meet at our club. Let's see, December 9th, you already reported on the slips. December 10th, The Redondo Beach Roundtable was hosted at King Harbor Yacht Club. Boaters have been very involved with this. For those of you, most of you probably have a sense of it. It's supposed to be the 72 most influential people in the city. But Craig Funabashi, a boater, has been past chair. Vicki Callahan has been a past chair, and the incoming chair, James Jackman, is a boater. So the boaters have really, stepped forward to be a part of that organization. December 22nd, I met with our new harbor master, Kurt Mahoney. Just seems like a great guy. We just sat down and for several hours, I tried to get him up to speed on the last 30 years of the harbor. So that was a very, very productive meeting with him.
Mark, you got 30 more seconds. I'm sorry, our timer is broken.
Oh, okay. Still another 30 seconds from you? I'll wrap it up.
Sure, move
Sure.
for now.
Yeah, okay, great. Then big deal stuff, January 11th, the Southern California Yachting Association had their installation hosted at King Harbor Yacht Club. We had it there because the incoming Commodore is our own Lee Caller, so congratulations. Also, the Vice Commodore coming in is Joni Masters Gonzalez from Port Royal Yacht Club. So pretty cool that little old King Harbor, we're supplying both the Commodore and the rear Commodore for that. February 2nd, the Association of Santa Monica Bay Yacht Clubs had their installation. Lisa Griffin from Port Royal is being installed as rear Commodore. Final thing, mayoral candidate Georgette Gantner contacted me and just wanted to learn about the harbor. So she came down and we chatted about the harbor. I may have reported you before. I did the same thing for Chad Castle. I just offered it to Brad Waller. I'll offer it to any of the candidates who just want to come down and learn about the harbor as part of being smarter candidates. So that's what I've been up to for the last couple months. Thank you, guys.
Mark. Anybody have any questions for Mark?
Not for Mark.
Okay.
I do have a question for Greg, though.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, Greg, the Yacht Club Way, the sewer project there that was suspended because of, what's the status on that?
Status of that is that it's under litigation. So the contractor that was performing that work went out of business. So our own Public Works Division was forced to kind of take site control, make the area safe. They put steel plates over everything. They tried to open up, the street itself as best they could in a safe manner. But there's no update in terms of how long this process could take. There is a process that the state of California provides in these situations where we're allowed to get a replacement contractor in. But I think we're learning through our own attorney's office just how we're going to navigate that process still. The good news is the other sewer pump project on Portofino is still making progress. It's almost complete. It's just unfortunate this one on Yacht Club Way has hit this roadblock.
Anyone else have a question for the director?
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
On the maps, it just, maybe this is part of future, I don't know, but it just occurred to me to have even more easy access to a map is just putting a QR code that links to the same source code that's populating your four signs that you could
That's a great idea.
back on
Yeah, carry it around with you.
the parking information or,
Yeah.
here and there.
You could have your 4, but then you could have
Yeah. a lot.
ancillary. Yeah, that's a great
Now
idea.
that we have Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
fits right in.
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
We'll look into it. I fully support that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Take it with you instead of a paper sign, a paper map,
Right,
like
well,
we
yeah.
used to have.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It'd give you walking directions to wherever you want need to go,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Greg, Roger?
Sure, yeah. Thanks. Any update on the commercial plan?
Not yet. So obviously, we got your feedback on the commercial plan. It's still with city council in closed session. They're contemplating whether it's going to be an internal policy document or if it's going to be a visionary document, much like the King Harbor Amenities Plan, where it's published and completely approved by resolution. So they're going back and forth on just how they want to go about it. But the document itself and what's in it hasn't changed.
Great, okay. And then I have, it's always a blend of items for staff and commissioner member items and future agenda topics, so I'll just kind of throw them in here. I want to say I've seen the new Harbor Patrol out a lot they're being really active. I don't know if the boat's running better, if they're being given more time on the water, but, you know, I just see them on patrol all the time. I hear them on the radio all the time now. So, you know, they're doing a great job, and I'll tell them that when they're here for a report. Really great to see them out there and active all the time like they are. I was actually talking to them at the ribbon cutting of the mural, thank you. And we were just talking about harbor stuff in general, and they were saying they get asked all the time about dinghy slips and where a boat can pull up to go to, you know, get a bite to eat or whatever. We may want to think about when the slips get remade or there's a vacancy in the South Basin, leaving it open as a temporary parking spot or a dinghy slip or something. I don't know how we would do that. I don't know if that's something for the council because it's loss of revenue.
I can give you an update on that. Two ways. The Port Royal lease negotiations are almost at a conclusion. The option will show up at City Council on February 18th. What it is it's essentially an agreement that says if the Port Royal leaseholder redevelops the site within a certain time frame before 2031, they have to hit benchmarks, entitlements, building permits, that kind of a thing, that they will then qualify for a 50-year lease extension, which would then have to go back to City Council again. So the option would be on February 18th, and the lease would come 4, 5, 6 years later, however long it takes them to hit those goals. One of the caveats in the option and in the lease is that when a slip, it's a requirement that City Council is imposing, that when a slip becomes available, it be retained for hourly, daily rental until such time that they can fill it.
Wow.
So we're going to implement that not only in that area, which is about 340 slips or so, but eventually in the Basin 1 and in Basin 3. An update on Basin 3, which is the basin that we operate, it's about 70 slips. At the same time that we finish the parking lot improvements, we're actually going to be implementing a dinghy dock pay by the hour, where currently, like the best way to describe it is by the Foss building on that dock. A portion of that will be a dinghy in the next 30 days.
Oh, man, you should have led with that. That should have been its own, that should have been item K.
Did you say paid by the hour, so it would not be free use?
It'll be an app. So just like you would pay for parking, you do an app and, yeah. This is obviously something that this group approved in the amenities plan. This is the 2 first steps of getting more dinghy docks out there. But the goal of the amenities plan is to make sure that each basin has a fair share to attract visitors to patron our businesses and hang out in Redondo Beach.
Great. The app and the payment make me a little nervous, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a trial run for sure. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Another comment, right now, just so people know, right now the bait barge is closed. It's nice to see them making an investment in it. They're putting in new pens, better pens. Our harbor can barely sustain a bait barge. In the wintertime, it's kind of just by appointment, but it's nice to see them making an investment, fixing it up. So, you know, that's great. And when we get more traffic and a boat ramp, I'm sure the bait barge will be doing a lot better.
Sure.
And then I actually have an item that I want to discuss as a possible future agenda topic. I was thinking about the construction we have coming up and the pier pilings that'll come out in the South Basin and the other 2 basins as these marinas redo themselves. And we've already had a lot of work done and a handful of pilings come out. I'd like to see those dropped on Hermosa Reef and re-augmented. There's an artificial reef about a mile out in front of the harbor, was made in the 70s. It's pretty flattened out. And if somebody's driving by with some concrete that's just going to go to, you know, a landfill, it'd be nice to see it go there and augment that reef. It's close enough that, you know, even kayakers can make it there. Our own local fishing boats are going there every day. So I'm going to try to write a letter and work Fish and Game, and I'm going to pass it around and try to get, you know, supporting signatures from Yacht Club and the fishing and so forth. I don't know how this works. If I can get a signature from this commission or the mayor or whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. It really, to get something agendized, you just need 3 other votes here tonight. I wouldn't put a time constraint on it, but I can work with you to get it on a future agenda. We can kind of prep for it to have the discussion. And if the result is we agree to write a letter of support, then it comes from this commission and from the city.
Great, okay.
Am I hearing a motion to?
Can I make my own motion to put my own thing? So I would like to move to make a future agenda topic of this commission's possible support for augmenting the Redondo artificial reef.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
Opposed?
All right.
Thank you.
I'll work with Roger, yeah.
That's it.
Anything else,
Thank you.
Roger?
No.
Anyone else have anything for the director? Any questions? Okay, well, with that, motion for adjournment?
Item N.
Second.
Second.
Item N.
Oh,
Oh,
item what?
N?
Well, I think we just did that. Future commission.
It always blends. The questions
had
for
something
the.
for that.
I did it. I'm not
Go
sure
ahead.
anyone else did.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the Lanakila Classic is February 22nd in the Seaside Lagoon, open to the public. I think there's,
It's a fee.
merchants, I mean, just to
Yeah.
observe and shop. But then it's, a fee to enter for outriggers, surf ski, stand-up paddleboards, and paddleboard, pro and paddleboards, so. And it's a regional event, so.
Anyone else?
is this on like one of our website or anywhere?
I don't know. Is it on our website? I don't know.
Doesn't Lanakila have their own website? Lanakila something or other?
It's on-
Oh, okay. There'll probably
He
be,
mentioned it very quickly, and I'm just, if anybody.
there'll probably be posters down at the
Thousands
harbor.
of people watching this want to.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
can sign up at paddleguru.com.
That's simple enough.
And all net proceeds donated to the LA wildfire victims.
Oh, very nice. Okay, anyone else? Referrals to staff? Future agenda items? Okay, with that, now let's try the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And so we are. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.